What's up, beautiful people? Micah Gillette with the Emerald Group and LPT Realty down here on the Emerald Coast in Destin, Florida. It is a little stormy out today, so if you hear thunder going on in the background, that's what's going on. But today I wanted to sit down and talk just a little bit about having an agent who's been trained in some style of negotiation, whether it's self-trained or they've gone through training for it, and someone that understands the things that are going to be important to you and important to the other person in this transaction. If you're using a real estate agent to buy or sell real estate, that means they are going to be the ones negotiating on your behalf. So you not only need to trust that they have your best interest in mind, but you also need to trust that they're capable of negotiating the best thing for you. That being said, you're the one that's going to have to make the ultimate decision on stuff like how much you want to sell your house for, how much you want to offer on a home, what your plans are for the future, your timelines, but you want someone who's actually been trained, again, whether it's through their own efforts or through official training, on getting you prepped up and ready to go for that. I personally have attended a few courses on negotiation, and I have done some self-study on it. The lead FBI hostage negotiator, his name is Chris Voss, wrote this book, Never Split the Difference. Really awesome book, great ideas on negotiating. My past is in the military, so I have some prior military experience on negotiating and communicating as well. One of the first things I look at if I'm trying to negotiate on behalf of my client is what are their needs. I want to know if I'm helping you buy or sell your house. I want to know exactly what your needs are and what's important to you. Some people, price is absolutely the most important thing. They're not nearly as worried about time. Other people are on a really strict timeline and they want to make sure that they are holding to that, and maybe that's more important than price. You may have someone else who price and timeline aren't important, but ease and simplicity of a move is what's really important to them. So the point I'm getting at is it can really go all different directions. What you want to do is make sure you find an agent and ask, have you been trained on negotiating? What have you done for self-education on it? How are you going to actually help me maximize what I'm getting and what's important to me? If your agent's not asking you questions about what's important, you may want to consider figuring out if they actually know what's important to you and how they are going to help negotiate on your behalf. The next thing I do if I'm going to be looking for someone to help them negotiate is what's important to the other party. If someone is coming in to buy a property and they're putting an offer in on one of my listings, or if I am helping a buyer put an offer in on a listing, I'm going to call the other agent and I'm going to ask certain things. I'm going to ask them what's important to their sellers or what's important to this buyer. What are they looking for? How long have they been looking? I'm really going to try and figure out exactly how I can help marry this negotiation together and make this deal happen. I have my client's best interest in the forefront of my mind, so that's what I'm trying to maximize and making sure that we can do that while still meeting the other person's needs. That way we are making sure that everyone can get exactly what they want out of this deal. If you are going to go out on the adventure of trying to sell your house or purchase a house or some real estate on your own, may behoove you to do a little bit of training or reading up on different negotiating tactics and techniques. Keep in mind that you are going to be dealing with a negotiation. So a couple examples of why it's important to make sure that you're not only understanding what your needs are and your agent's understanding what your needs are, but also figuring out what's important to the other party. Just a couple examples. I did a personal deal earlier this year. I was able to save my client $40,000. We went through, we discussed what he was looking for. We discussed with the other agent what was important to the sellers, and he was able to get into a place for about $40,000 less than the asking price, and that was on a home that was listed under $450,000. So we saved him almost 10% on that transaction, and everyone was happy. Everyone got to walk away with what they were looking for and what they wanted. But again, we focused on what was important for all parties involved. I have another good friend who was able to get a house for almost $200,000 under listing. This is not a multi-million-dollar property. This was a property he ended up closing on for under $500,000, and it was originally listed for over $700,000. He did that from figuring out what was important to the seller and meeting her needs on that and making sure that she had what was important to her. So again, asking stuff like, hey, you don't want to move yet, you want to move in 6 months, okay, we can work that deal out. Maybe that's where the sticking point is. It's not always going to be price. That's about all I have today for negotiations. See you.